K2 Promotions, which is the Klitschko promotional outfit, are currently in talks with Olympic super heavyweight gold medalist Tony Yoka of France. And they're discussing a possible deal for Yoka to turn professional with K2. All right, they want to sign him. Wladimir Klitschko has sat down with him apparently, and they're talking about things. I think it's very important who you sign with when you turn professional, particularly when you're in a position like Tony Yoka's in, where you've got lots of different options. It's always best to go with the option which is going to benefit you the most in terms of your development as a fighter, your development of skills. Because a lot of promoters will offer you crazy money to turn pro with them. I'm sure Frank Warren offered Anthony Joshua crazy money. And many other people as well. But just because the person who offers you the most money is, just because somebody offers you the most money, it doesn't mean they're necessarily the best person to go with. I think Anthony Joshua even said, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he said that Eddie Hearn wasn't the guy who offered him the most money. But he just looked at the Eddie Hearn deal overall and looked at the fact that he has this exclusive deal with Sky and said, you know what, it's best to go with Hearn rather than be fighting on Box Nation, which is somewhat of a backwater. No disrespect, but it is. So, yeah, Yoka is going to have to play his cards very wisely. He's an interesting fighter. I don't know that much about him. I saw him in the Olympics, obviously, beating Joe Joyce in a controversial decision. I felt that Yoka actually won, but a lot of British people especially felt like Joe Joyce was robbed. However, I think Yoka's an interesting talent. He doesn't appear to be that much of a big puncher. He has kind of a basic style, like a lot of French fighters tend to have. So he definitely needs a lot of development, but one thing has to be said, and a lot of you may find this interesting. Tony Yoka actually beat Joseph Parker in the amateurs. Yeah, actually beat Joseph Parker. Parker was a good amateur himself and a very good athlete, as you know, very fast and explosive and hits hard and whatnot. And he always was like that, even from the amateurs. But Tony Yoka managed to go in there and beat Parker. So he does have some skills. He does have some toughness about him as well, Tony Yoka. Even in that Joe Joyce fight, Joyce was hitting him with some hard shots. And Tony Yoka managed to hang tough. So he appears to be a tough guy. Not really a big puncher, but very tall. He's got crazy long reach on him. Long arms, big obviously. I don't know, he's like 6'6", 6'7". So he's got the size, but whereby he's not a puncher and he's not getting by on sheer physicality, he's going to need to really, really hone his skills. In the heavyweight division, above all other divisions, if you don't have power, you better have crazy skills. You better. So he's going to need to sign with somebody who's going to be able to take him and put him in with the very best sparring available. If he was to sign with K2, maybe he'd be able to spar with Wladimir Klitschko. We don't know how long Klitschko is going to be around. He's not at his best at the moment, but still, if Klitschko was able to take Yoka under his wing, teach him a thing or two before he retires, that might be a good look. You never know. You might end up with Wladimir Klitschko in the corner of Tony Yoka. Klitschko clearly seems interested in the business side of boxing. I mean, a couple of years ago, maybe it was only a year ago, when he said he would love to promote Anthony Joshua. And I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know whether he was being sincere, but he seemed sincere to me when he said that. He said, I wish I could promote Anthony Joshua. And he was just heaping all this praise on AJ. And now they're talking about him potentially fighting AJ. So it's funny the way the world of boxing works. But yeah, Klitschko's very interested in the promotional side of things. He promotes GGG, obviously, or his company does, and several other fighters. And now that his career is in its twilight, I guess you could say, maybe he'll make a move to try and sign more and more fighters and more fighters like Yoka. So, I don't know. At this stage, K2, I think, wouldn't be a bad place to go because you do have the Klitschkos behind it. I'm sure they can get in the best heavyweight sparring. They've got a good reputation in the business world, particularly in Germany. So it might be a good way to go for Tony Yoka. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you have a better idea for Tony Yoka? I had mentioned to somebody, shout out to the Tebow, by the way. I had mentioned to him initially that I think Yoka needs to go to the United States. And I think in terms of training, maybe he does. But again, in the Klitschko camp, they got plenty of American trainers in there anyway. They got James Ali Bashir, they got Jonathan Banks, so on and so forth. So I do think he needs to loosen up a little bit and learn a bit of that American style. So maybe an American trainer, but base him in wherever, France, have him sparring in Germany and whatnot. Yes, it's interesting anyway. Let me not waffle on too much here. I'm thinking out loud again. Let me know how you feel about Tony Yoka and the possibility of him signing with K2 Promotions, the Klitschko promotional company. If you don't think he should go there, where do you think he should go instead? Who do you think should train this guy? What do you think of him as a fighter? Drop it all in the comment section below. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.